Now I cut these out for you. This is about 2.5 centimeters. And the first thing we're going to do on these is whack them down so that I'm going to take one end, if I can get it in here where you can see it. I don't know if I can get this or not. Let me see here. Okay, I'm going to just cut that corner off and cut the other corner off and just make a kind of a point on it. Then I'm going to turn it around. I want to narrow that strip of foam. So let me see if I can get a little bit more hand in there. Okay. Then I'm going to trim that along the side, on both sides. And I'm going to end up with, I don't have this problem when I'm not working around this camera, but I'm going to end up with that foam pattern. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to lay a thread base on this thing, and I'm going to start at the just behind the eye when I get my hook in.
Yeah. Just saying.
I'm going to start behind the eye because I'm going to be tying on at the bend. I'm going to leave a little space behind the eye if I can. No, I didn't get it. But I'm going to hold my thread at a 45 again, and as I wrap back, it's going to make pretty consistent wraps all the way to the bend. And I am going to go just a tad past the bend. I've learned from experience that if I go a little bit past the bend, the pattern is going to fit a little bit better. Okay? Then I'm going to take my black foam. I'm going to put the blunt pointy end. I'm going to put just the tip of that just slightly downhill from that bend. I'm just going to tie that on. Okay, like so. You can see how I've got it tied on. Then I'm going to grab one of my little black things, or little red thing. You need to have 5 segments. Have 5 segments. If you have 4, you're going to be too short. You're going to need 5 segments. You're only going to use 4 of them, but you got to have something you can hang on to. So I'm going to lay the 4th segment right back where I tied in, and I'm going to go over that, and I want the biggest side up. Okay? You see how I've got that tied on? Now this part that I've tied on, I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to cut that off as close to my thread as I can get. And I'm going to go underneath the foam until I'm at the next segment joint. I'm going to tie that in with 3 or 4 wraps. I'm going to go underneath again. I'm going to go up to the second joint. And that's where we end up on this step for the time being. Now, you notice that the 4th segment is going to be hanging over the eye of the hook. That's on purpose. So don't be alarmed at that. Then I'm going to take my overwrap thread, and I'm going to bring that up at that 2nd segment that I attached, and I'm going to attach it. See, I've got that. Then I'm going to have to hold the red up. I'm going to go underneath again, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to tie that last segment off. Then I'm going to bring the black over, and I'm going to tie it off as well. Okay? Now, the head is hanging down now. Don't let that bother you. We're going to fix that. I'm going to trim this black off. And then I'm going to raise that head up, and I'm going to make some thread wraps behind the eye to build a kind of a little ramp for that head so that it's going to stick up a little bit. Okay? Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to tie this off. Use my whip finish tool. Come on, work. Get rid of my thread. Tie that off, get that out of the way. Okay. Now, it really crowds the eye, but you can see that the head now is extending past, and it's sticking up. You're not going to have a problem getting your tippet into the eye of the hook on this one. I frayed some of my thread a little bit, caught it on that hook, get rid of some of that. All right, last step. I'm going to use some of the, I hope it, you may find it easier at this point to turn your fly upside down.
Oh, okay.
Because I want the knots on the bottom. So I'm going to slip that over, and I'm going to go to my first tie-in location, and I'm going to pull those knots tight. Okay? With a double loop, you can do that pretty easily. And I'm just going to let that stand, and I'm going to keep, you can get a couple of these out of one of these strands of red if you use your tweezers. So I'm going to whack this again. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that little loop thing. I'm going to make a loop around my finger, then I'm going to grab my tweezers. I'm just making an overhand knot, that's all I'm doing. And I'm going to pull that loop through so that I've got a loop through. I'm going to do that one more time. If you don't do it twice, the knots will not hold. They'll slip off the body of the fly. Okay, now I'm going to slip that over right behind the eye. I'm going to pull that tight again. Then I'm going to grab all four ends and I'm going to cut them off the same length. And I like to put a little drop of super glue on the knot or head cement. Either one will work, but you just need a little drop on there. I may not be able to do this today because I didn't bring my... If my super glue won't work, I'll have to break down and use head cement. That's okay. That works just as good. I'm going to put just a drop of that right on the knot. Make sure you don't get it into the eye because that second one is very close to the eye. And you can still kind of manipulate those legs. And that is Fishy Fulham's red ant.
You're the man.
Okay? It's a really cute little fly. And it's unique. How did he ever, I don't know how he ever did that.